another write-in. I haven't seen that anyone has joined me yet, so far it's just future people. Hello to whoever joins me in the future. But in the meantime, I'm glad to be back, and I'm glad to at least feel like I'm ever so slightly more human this week than I was last week. So, yeah, I ended up deciding to take the entire week pretty much for myself because I just really needed that rest after that hectic week at the end of August. And I'm really glad I did it because I'm feeling like I can really just attack everything again in this coming month and beyond. So I think it was worth it, even though I lost a bit of productivity, I suppose, just by not doing it. But I'm thinking I will make up for that in the very near future, just because of the fact that I'm able to focus better and not get lost in, exhaustion and burnout and all kinds of stuff like that. So I have to say it was fun. I kind of wish I could have another week of just completely being lazy, but unfortunately for me, or fortunately for me, I got another big job that came in, so I will be busy for at least the next 3 or 4 weeks. And yeah, so maybe if I get that job done, then maybe I can reward myself with another few days of just being completely lazy. Let's see. I see DL Stewart stopped by. Hello. Thank you very much for joining me. How are you doing? Did you get any writing done, or did you also take a bit of a breather from your writing like I did this week? But let me know in the comments, DL. But yeah, thanks for joining. And I'm seeing someone else is there, but I haven't seen any comments or anything from that person. So I guess we'll see if they actually talk, because I know sometimes we have a few lurkers in the background. But yeah, so yeah, that was basically my story. And I don't know if you guys missed it. So if you want me to repeat that, just let me know. But otherwise, it's not that important. I just kind of introduced myself and just kind of acted like a normal person, unlike the half-dead zombie thing I was last week. Hi, Michael. Welcome back, and thanks for joining. And let me know how you did. Did you get some writing done? All that fun stuff. And DL said, "I'm doing good. I've done some writing. That's good. That is awesome. That is very cool. No, I've got. I'm glad that you guys are doing well, and no problem on be right back for DL. So we'll be here. I think hopefully, unless you're like Aphrodite last week and you managed to come in like in the 5 minutes before I managed to go away. So, but hopefully we'll be here. Right. So I was actually hoping to have some company, but it's looking like this week my camera buddies are still having as hectic weeks as I did last week, so I'm probably going to be hanging out all alone again. But not all alone, because you guys are hanging out with me in chat, so that's also cool. So let's just see. Michael Edwards says, I edited a short story, wrote another one, and edited it. Well done. That is very productive of you. What was your short story about and what genre? I'm very interested. So let me know in the chat. But yeah, so I have to say, I really want to write more short stories myself, but it's just at the moment my brain is pretty much wrapped up in all the other crap. Well, not crap, all the other things. Things I should just say things instead of saying shit and crap and stuff about the things I'm doing. But anyway, so all the other stuff that I'm getting busy with, just pretty much is consuming my brain. So it's very hard for me to focus at the moment. And also, I have another problem with writing short stories, namely that whenever I write a short story, somehow it turns into like a 6-book series before the short story is like halfway through. And that means I hardly ever manage to finish a short story, because it's almost never a short story by the time I'm done with it. So that sucks a bit. But yeah, I don't know why. I think my brain might just be like totally not geared for short story writing. But I'm glad that you got so much done, Michael. Well done. I'm very happy for you. I love it when my peeps are all so productive. It's very cool. But yeah, so on my side, I basically I mentioned, I'm not sure when you joined, Michael, but on my side, I pretty much just went, you know what, I'm taking this week and doing nothing. So I actually ended up like doing very little, and by very little, I mean I didn't even watch TV because I was so tired of looking at a screen that I just didn't even want to. I didn't even open my computer, and it was wonderful. The only reason my computer was open at all for the past week basically was that I just basically played music in the background and did some stuff like more physical things and doing some exercise stuff and so on. I'm trying to get more into cardio exercises and so on. So that's basically all I did, but it was just so necessary for me to not, focus on anything physically speaking, like a computer screen or a book or anything, just anything like that didn't work for me. So I just rested. But I have to say, I'm glad I did it. I'm really looking forward to getting back into the swing of things now, which is really, really the reason why I took that break. I just needed to take a nice deep breather. Let's see. Comments. DL says he's back. Welcome back. And then he also said, I'm doing another 10K writing challenge today. Nice. I hope you make it. I really hope you make it this time. I think you made it the last time as well, but I hope you make it again because you have a good thing going at the moment. So hopefully you stay on that like streak of yours. And then Michael said, the first was a paranormal thriller, I guess, and the second was a contemporary coming of age. I'll be submitting one of them in a competition. Very cool. That is nice. No, I'm also like you. I also write like little different genres and things like that because for me, story is more about what interests me rather than whether or not it falls into a specific category. So I just write kind of eclectically as well. But yeah, so for today, I just kind of picked a bit of an open topic again because I think that it's sometimes fun for us to just like go into a bit more like wider subjects and just talking and stuff in between. But I'm thinking that today for the talking, I don't, especially with DL needing to do 10K, that I'm not going to spend too much time in the beginning talking about stuff or about a topic, but more we'll talk, let's say we'll talk for a few minutes and then we do 15 minutes and then we can decide whether or not we want to talk about something or whatever. Just see how it goes and then we can get some writing and so on done. But yeah, so maybe the first thing I should be asking before we get into the topic of choice today, I think we should just quickly talk about what we will be working on for today's sprint and then decide from there. So let's just, before we get into that, let's just see. Michael says, for me, as long as the main character is LGBT, I'm good to go. Yeah, I think that's actually a really good thing. Not, I have to say, it's not like I'm trying to give you permission or anything like that, but I think it's so cool to have like LGBT representation and also just wider representation in general. I personally, I mean, I'm not at all like in what the US would call a minority group in any way, but I still find myself looking for that different perspective, especially these days. So I just love it when I see people working on these things because then I'm like, yeah, one day I'm going to read this. So for me, I'm really, really happy if it's LGBT characters and anyone like that. But of course, I mean, that's not why you would be doing that. So, but I mean, maybe we can talk about that a little bit in a light kind of way of talking about it. But because it has kind of to do, I think, with what I wanted to talk about today as a topic. So let's see about that. And then DL says, I've already got 2K done, so I'm doing better than normal, laugh out loud. And then he also says, I'm going to be working on Sovereign Duties, which is book 2 of my Metaphor series. Very nice. Michael, what will you be working on? Just let me know in the chat as well. And then in the meantime, I can say that I will probably just be doing some more freeform writing like I did last week, because I want to just explore a little bit more about actually the whole thing that I was talking about, is the why of why I am doing the things I'm doing with regards to my writing and editing and publishing and stuff like that. So the reasoning for that is to get to a point where I can actually finish my marketing plan. I was supposed to do it last week, but that's kind of hard when you're not wanting to do anything. So that's basically what I'm going to be working on tonight, and hopefully with my brain nice and fresh, I'm going to be able to come up with some very interesting things. So let's see. But yeah, so while we're waiting to hear what Michael wants to work on, I kind of thought just for tonight's topic, we can talk kind of about the whole thing of remembering our whys. And it's a silly way of saying it, but it's just a very useful thing, I think, to sometimes remember why it is that we write and publish, and why it is that we put ourselves through this, because sometimes writing is a hard thing to do, and just especially just balancing writing with all the other requirements you have in your life, and with work and supporting your family and being with your children and stuff like that. It can sometimes feel like you're taking your time to do other things away in order to get the writing done. And so I feel that there has to be kind of like some reason why we do it. And so I was kind of just really interested in knowing what you guys think about that, and why you guys started writing, and why you kept writing, even though I'm certain you have encountered challenges and yeah, just found things that you needed to overcome. So I'm really interested in that. So just let me know in the comments, and then you can see about getting some writing done. Right. So in the meantime, Michael also said, finishing up pantsing one of the last chapters of book 1 of my Mages of Halaron series, if it flows. If not, I'll edit some of it. Cool. That is a very nice. That's going to be fun. I like also like I write, but I don't do what you're doing of like editing while I'm still drafting. But what I also like to do is I do, when I have a lot of sprinting to do, I also like to have 2 projects going, one editing and one writing, because it just kind of depends on where my brain is at a given time. And usually the only way for me to find out is actually to try writing and then see if that works out for me. But yeah, so it's very cool that you're doing that as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing how you guys are going to do with the sprints today. But yeah, so just in the meantime, just let me know like what inspired you to start writing and how you got going and stuff like that. I don't think we've really talked about it with you guys. I don't think you guys were like in there, because the last time I kind of even just glancingly mentioned this was really easy in my channel's restart. So yeah. So on my side, I have to say I got into writing because my grandmother is a reasonably, I won't say she's not like J.R.R. Tolkien famous or anything like that, but she's a reasonably famous writer and poet. She's had some of her poetry prescribed to people at school and stuff. So there are people who say, no, my grandmother is XYZ, then they go, oh, wow, yeah, I read her poem. So that was kind of like where I got into it, because I grew up watching my grandmother making a living as a writer. And yeah, it was an inspiration to me. And so for me, it was always this thing of not necessarily, oh, I want to do that one day, but more of, okay, so this is like totally a normal thing to do, and it's actually, she enjoys it, and I think I would enjoy it, because I love making stories up, because I've been playing stories like since before I could write and read. So that was just basically where I got going. And yeah, it was, yeah, I just basically, and I enjoyed doing it, and my grandmother encouraged me. So I wrote for fun for a very long time, but then around the age of 13, I just got really inspired with a story that caught my interest that was obviously outside of the school curriculum. So I just decided to start writing. And then the more I wrote, the more serious I became about it. And yeah, that's kind of where I got going. But as it went on and as I got older and more going through stuff and just realizing how much writing actually makes a positive impact on my life, it just really encouraged me to write more. And so it became really a passion, but it's not really even a passion for me anymore, because for me a passion is something that's almost a bit more outside of you, but it's actually, for me, it's become part of my identity as a person. And it's a way I understand things for myself. If I don't know how to feel about something, I'll write about it until I kind of have that kind of opening. And that's kind of what I yeah, that's kind of where I got in and why I write. But the reasoning behind why I publish is actually, for me at the moment, the thing that I've been trying to figure out. So maybe hopefully by the end of tonight I might have a bit more of a firm idea for what I can actually say is my reasoning behind it. But let's see what you guys said. DL said, I started writing because I used to rap, but my mic broke and I lost a lot of my beats. So I transitioned into writing stories as my creative outlet. And then Michael said, I got into writing because it was a teenage angst outlet for me. Then stopped and started because I enjoyed Will and Sonny from Days of Our Lives fanfics, and started one of my own. Very cool. No, yeah, it was actually, it's in a sense, it's also for me kind of similar with you guys, with like the angst, getting the angst out, and just like finding like a creative way of dealing with emotions. And I'm just generally creative, so I, at the same time as I was writing and stuff, I also used to do like painting and drawing, a lot of drawing and all those kinds of things. And I loved it the same, but there was just something for me about writing and actually letting it out. And in a sense, that was also for me what poetry was just like that kind of outlet. And especially when I was in school, that was mostly what I focused on, because it was an outlet while also being very like small and contained. So it didn't take up too much of my time, and I wasn't really needing to worry about how much I was actually going to be able to get done. But then towards like, yeah, like in the beginning of high school, I just kind of got to this point where I was just like, no, but I like poetry, but I just really want to take on this thing called writing a novel. And yeah, it's yeah, and that was basically all she wrote. And that was it for me. And then especially like when I got to university and I had a very small room at my residence where if I say like, I'm trying to think now. It's probably a little like 1.5 times the width of a double bed, and there were two beds in it because I had to share with someone. So doing something like painting or drawing or anything that would require space for something to dry up or anything like that was just like really impossible. So that was also when I really started getting into my writing as an art form, because I just realized that I can't really go with all the tech and all this stuff required to get the art stuff done. And I just said, you know what? So I'm painting with words from now on. And I'm really glad I made that decision, I have to say. Michael said, I went to a high school of the arts in contemporary dance. It was my main outlet, but sometimes wasn't enough. Yeah, I also I wasn't like that serious into dance as you. I did ballroom when I was in high school, but just like as 1 or 2 hours a week, and I loved it. But for me, it was a kind of a little bit the other way around. It was just like my way of getting like exercise and getting another form of an outlet that wasn't necessarily just writing or just painting or anything like that, because the thing about writing, and it's something that I'm struggling with right now, is the fact that whether I like it or not, writing is mostly a stationary practice. So I'm trying to figure out ways in which to get more exercise in and still have that kind of expressive kind of movement. So I'm definitely looking into that at the moment. But living in a small town, it's definitely something I have to figure out a bit more than one would think, because it's not so easy to get like dance classes and stuff. But we'll see. Anyway, but it's so interesting though to see that most of us, it seems that it was more like we just needed, we started out just needing it as an outlet. But so I'm curious, what made you guys decide to like, or let me ask it this way: did you guys decide that you're going to get your works published, or are you more working for your own, I want to say, almost gratification? What is it that kind of got you guys into this idea of having other people read your work? Because I'm just assuming that this isn't the end. What the decision was is to say, well, this is pretty good, I want someone to read this. Because I don't think most writers, they write for themselves, I want to say, but they end up coming to this point of like, well, I guess someone should be reading this, and I'm going to publish it, or have it published, sell it to a traditional publisher, or whatever your journey is. But I'm curious about that like moment. What kind of made you guys make that decision, or did you make that decision, or am I full of nonsense in assuming that everyone has made that decision already who is joining me on this channel? So just let me know. I'm really curious, because that is where I'm kind of stuck. Because for me, it's just kind of feeling like my brain, every time I'm like, so why did I publish? My brain just answers, well, of course you published. And I'm like, yeah, but why did I feel that I have to actually share what I wrote? What was it about that kind of sharing? Because the obvious answer feels to me like someone would say, but yeah, it's for validation, and it's for outside approval or something, but it's really not for me. I love that people love my work. That is the most awesome feeling in the world, to know that I put all that work in, and people send me messages to let me know, to say, listen, I can't believe how awesome this was. But it it wasn't really the main thing. It doesn't feel like that was what drove me to publish, and that's kind of, I keep feeling like that's kind of the thing that I need to figure out for myself, is what is that driving factor? Because the publishing side of my whole writing, editing, publishing cycle is actually the side that I have to communicate to people. Because the writing communicates for itself, I feel like, but the publishing is actually the thing that I want people to buy into. And so I really need to have, like, even if I never tell people what that answer is of why I do it, I just feel that I really need to have a good like reason, because people need to at least feel that I'm not like bullshitting them or anything like that. So I guess we'll have to see. DL says, let's see, I see he left a comment. He said, I had never wrote anything structured in the form of a story, so I posted it up online to get feedback. As I was still working on the first draft, I gained so much support and encouragement. And then my story became the second most recommended on the site, so I decided to go ahead and pursue publication. Oh, that's very interesting. That is so cool. And then I see I actually missed a comment from Michael that said, I never thought I would, but after I wrote my fanfic, friends unto Will and Sunny wanted to read it. I was terrified and disgusted by my errors afterwards, but I did it. Yeah, I have to say, let's just going in the order of what the posting of the comments were. That is kind of the big thing, I think, is just that, like, I don't know, just that moment of actually opening up to people and saying, well, I wrote this thing, do you want to read it? And just having, there's something about sharing a story that I just find so interesting. And it's terrifying, and like you said, you get disgusted by your errors, and even now, I mean, you'd think that after almost 50 rounds of edits and proofreads and copy edits that you would be happy with the freaking thing after you published it, but my brain still, when I'm rereading for like the sequels and stuff like that, then my brain is still like, gosh, could you not have worded this better, you know? So I it's definitely, it's that, like, you get so disgusted with yourself because it feels like you just left like really glaring errors in the book, but it's not that bad. I think it's just that we know the book so well, so we feel that there's always like lost potential that we didn't quite reach or something. But I think, yeah, I think it's just, I love, I guess I have to say I love this, just the idea of sharing a story with people. So maybe I'm not so much a writer as I am a storyteller or something like that. I don't know. I'm still thinking about it and still trying to figure this out for myself, because it sounds very weird, but I'm a mystery to myself in this regard. I don't know. Anyway, and then let's see. DL said, he's just going back to his comment, is I posted it up online and got some feedback, and then after he got the feedback, he just realized that he actually got such support and positive feedback that he decided to go ahead and pursue publication. That's also, I mean, that's kind of where I'm also kind of there. It sounds so weird, I know, but it's just like, I don't know. Like, people with, when I was at school, for example, and I wrote essays and stuff, I was that kid where the teacher would like take my essay and read it out loud and stuff, and it's like, oh, this is so good, and you should publish and stuff like that. So that kind of, I guess that also played into my journey as well, because there is something nice about that. I mean, it's not my main drive, but it's just definitely having that kind of moment of, oh wow, some people actually like this. Maybe more people will like this if I share it. And it's not necessarily, and again, I mean, for me, it wasn't really so much about like the, oh wow, I'm getting glowing adoration and I'm going to be famous one day. It was more, it's more like, well, people like this, so maybe I should share it. You know, maybe I feel that I don't want to say obligated, but like maybe I don't know. It's just like a, just this thing of, well, I'm really good at this. Why shouldn't we put what we're really good at? Why shouldn't we put it out in the world if we're so good at it? So it's an interesting question. But yeah, I love that you guys shared your stories. Thanks so much. I'm really glad, because it's always very cool to see where other people came from and how they got to where they are now, and just share in each other's journeys a little bit because of that. So I really appreciate that. But yeah, so I think maybe right now is probably a good time for us to just kind of put a pin in it for a little later, perhaps. And then if you guys feel like continuing on a little, then we can talk about it a bit more in about, let's say, 10 minutes. We can start with a nice 10-minute warm up. And then after the 10 minutes are finished, we'll see how we feel about talking some more. So let me just open my timer and set the 10 minutes, because it's not live if I actually have everything organized ahead of time. So I forgot, in other words, to set my timer. But there we go. Okay, so I'm going to count down. And oh, before I count down, let me just say a special hello to Terry. Hi, Terry, welcome. I'm really, really glad that you stopped by. Thank you. And he's actually one of my oldest contacts in this writing network game. He actually comes from when I was regularly blogging, actually. So he followed me to the channel. So thanks so much for your support, Terry. I really appreciate it. Gosh, why am I so stuttery today? Okay, so let's get to the writing bit. So I'm going to count down, and then I will see you guys in 10 minutes. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go. And time, how did you guys go? Did you get some writing done? How many words? Let me know. I think I got about 200 words, but yeah, I haven't really gotten to any major uh, revelations on my side yet, because first I've got like a week's worth of processing to do so that my brain kind of just clear out a little bit, and then I'll start digging around in my psyche a little bit. So that's kind of my plan for the night. But I know last week I said that I'm going to be working on something more fun, but this has to be done, and I'm feeling really bad. I actually got hired. I have to mention I've got hired for a project in uh yeah, maybe I shouldn't say where it is, but I got hired to do the communications for a project. I'm not doing the implementation, but I have to set up the strategy so that, and I have to do it in a way that the project can actually implement for me. So that's going to be interesting, and I'm really looking forward to it. But even as I'm saying that, I'm thinking, gosh, I really, really, really have to sort out my own communications, because I cannot be that person who is actually being paid to do communications for people and I'm not doing my own. So I have to do that. So hopefully tonight I will actually get something usable. So fingers crossed for that. But yeah, so Michael has said he did 142 words. Nicely done. Well done. And DL says he did 361 words. Very cool. Well done. Yay! I'm glad you guys are so productive. Awesomeness. Yeah, I actually, because I'm writing by hand at the moment, so I'm just guessing. I'm thinking it's probably somewhere between 150 and 200 words if I'm being conservative about my estimates. But what I did once was I counted how many words fit onto a page, and that's kind of just how I go. And then I guess when I'm looking at it, I'm like, that's about one page. So yeah. All right. So is there anything you guys feel like talking about? Because I don't feel like I should be questioning your whys much more than I already did, unless you guys want to talk about it more. So just let me know. But if you guys have any like questions or comments or anything that you are interested in and curious about, just let me know and we can talk about that a little bit. But yeah, so that's basically, it's a bit hard for me. I said that now, and as I said that, I'm like, all right, so I left the ball in your court, but now in the meantime, I have to figure out something that I have to say so that this is not now going to go completely quiet while I wait for a response that might possibly not come. So yeah, oops. Also, let me know, guys, if you want to share some of your excerpts. That's also a thing. I won't really be sharing excerpts because this is basically what I'm working on is equivalent to a diary entry, and I'm not sure how much you guys would want to hear about my diary entries because it's all too much information crap and all that kind of thing. So yeah, it's kind of a bit bad to share my excerpts, but still, you guys are welcome to share yours, and then I'll read them out loud like I did last week. So in case you guys are still unsure, or in case anyone does watch this and they want to share it maybe in the comments one day, they can just, what you do is you just write out a short snippet. It doesn't have to be overly long, and then just copy paste into the chat and or comments and just let us know what you wrote. So yeah, that's basically it. It's not really very complicated, I don't think so. But I know some people don't like sharing snippets, so it's also, I'm leaving it up to you guys. No pressure whatsoever. Just let me know, because I don't want to just rush into the sprint with when you guys do want to share snippets, because it sometimes does take a little while to share what or decide what you want to share. So just let me know before you start sharing so that I know. Okay, cool. Right. I have to say, it's so weird. It's actually so weird. I'm talking about the weather, I know, but it's like so hot today. I actually have the fan on in the background, and it's why I'm saying it's so weird is like 2 days ago it was winter, like literally like wind blowing, rain, miserable cold, turning the heaters on, that kind of thing. So I don't know what the heck is going on with our weather at the moment, but it's a bit mad. But yeah, it's life, I guess. But yeah, so just filling the time right now until someone responds. But that's kind of what I'm doing. But yeah, I'm actually kind of a little nervous, I have to say, about that new job of mine, because it's like it's not completely unlike anything I've done before, but it's putting money where my mouth is and actually committing to what I've been saying for the past like few months about what people should be doing about marketing and stuff. And yeah, so it's very interesting for me to see how people respond to that in like the real environment and stuff like that. So I'm excited, but also like a little bit like, oh gosh. But yeah, I think I think it's I think it's going to be a good change. So I'm hoping this isn't actually the job I got now. Is actually not the one that I did the interview for. So that was funny. It was actually it's another one that I got recommended for, but they just decided to use my services without even interviewing me, which is even like yeah. So I guess maybe they can still back out because we haven't signed a contract yet, and they did say they want to schedule a Skype call with me, so we are still due to talk, but they officially did book my time for the rest of this month. So I guess I'm really into it already, whether or not I want to admit it. So yeah, but yeah, it's going to be exciting. I'm really excited, but I have to say at the moment the biggest thing for me is with my own communications. I'm so excited to actually get to the point of actually just like sharing, or not really sharing, but just getting my communication stuff sorted out, because at the moment it's all over the place and it's a mess and it's feeling a bit like a construction site, because I actually actively took down I actively took down like some of the stuff I've been doing, and I've been undoing errors I've made and stuff like that. So it also sucks because when someone says, so do you please do share what you've been doing, I'm like, well, I can't because it looks like crap. And I know it, but so I really want to get that sorted out. And the big thing for me is what I want to do is with my communication stuff is I don't want communications and marketing and stuff like that to feel like, in our case, the whole buy my book, buy my book, buy my book kind of thing the whole time. It's more, I want it to be a bit more gentle and a bit more mindful, and also not the whole let's throw spaghetti at the wall and see what sticks, because that's also kind of actually the reason why I got hired on this job in the first place, because I'm like, well, yeah, that approach doesn't make sense, especially when there are like limited resources. You don't When I say resources, I'm talking in terms of time. You have a limited amount of time. Do you really just want to do stuff just because other people tell you that, oh yeah, you have to do this? Or do you actually want to market your stuff in a mindful way that you feel not only confident about, but you also feel like there's a reasoning behind why you're doing it, with the idea that in the medium to long term it will actually start yielding results. So that's kind of my approach. So we'll see how that works out. But I think it will work. I'm. Let me put it this way: I'm confident it will work out. It just needs to be implemented. But I should really, 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 really implement it on my own stuff as well. So that's kind of why this is today my priority thing to do, and figuring out my reasoning. And if anyone is ever curious about or thinking like, Misha, why the heck are you talking about marketing and the reason why you are writing and publishing? What does the two have to do with each other? Well, so actually the thing about it is that I believe that you need to know what it is that you're trying to achieve, because that has something very direct to do with what you want to communicate to your audiences. So if you don't know what you're trying to do and why you are doing that thing, you can't really accurately get in touch with the people that you want to get in touch with, because you're not really any marketing you do without knowing that kind of like, I want to say, the nucleus of what it is that you are really doing. Anything that you're going to market out of that, if you don't have that nucleus under control, in the sense that you know what it's about, You know what you want to share about it. It's just really going to feel like anything you communicate afterwards is just going to feel really superficial and might probably end up also not be very coherent in terms of your overall strategy, because you're not tying it back to that, like that basic why thing that you're aiming for. So just having that is so important. And it just, yeah, guys, it's just so important. I'm going to just go for the emotional. It's so important, guys. Just know why you are doing the thing so that you can communicate it, please. But yeah, so that's basically what I'm doing, and how the 2 points actually relate to each other, in case anyone ever wonders. Okay, but I see, while I was prattling away, DL left me an excerpt. So thanks so much for being a sport, DL. Yay! Okay, I'm going to start reading. Darius stepped towards Kalama as the fire spread from her hair across her entire body. With each step Darius made forward, Kalama took a step back as the stones around them darkened from the fire. Very nice description. That's just me, but okay. Let's get back to the story. All right. The raging flames began to spread through the corridor, engulfing everything in it. After taking a few steps backward, Kalama found herself up against the wall as Darius steadily approached, unfazed by the flames. Darius delivered a swift punch to the side of Kalama's face, causing her body to collide against the floor as she did. Kalama propped herself up on one of her elbows as she raised her other arm and screamed for someone to help her, though the entire section of the manor was consumed by the ravishing flames. Her bronze skin glowed a vibrant orange as her entire body materialized into wisps of fiery light. "Why are you doing this?" Kalama cried out as steam escaped her eyes. Nice! Very nice description, DL. Very cool. I'm so curious. This is very, very interesting. I'm very curious about, like, it feels to me kind of like the two of them actually have a relationship of some sort, so I'm interested in seeing, like, does he have an answer for her and what that answer might be. And I like the description and the way you just, like, where in the beginning especially, there's one part that let me just see, yeah, with the stones darkening from the fire. That's actually a very nice touch, I thought. So thanks so much for sharing. I really appreciate it. So but yeah, so okay, so I think I'm not seeing, I don't know what happened to Michael, so hopefully he's still here. But in the meantime, let's just maybe jump into the next sprint. And then we can chat again a little bit more if you guys want. Sure. Right, so I'm going to set it this time for 15 minutes because I think 15 minutes is just a nice amount of time, not too fast, not too slow, not too slow, and all those fun things. So I'm going to count down from 5, and then I'll see you guys in 15 minutes. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And go. time, how did you guys do? I think I got probably about, let's see. I actually think I got close to 400 words done this time. Yay! Awesome. So how did you guys do? Let me know in the comments, and let's see. Also, please do share snippets if you want to share. Okay, so Michael actually let me know that he did 190 words. Well done. Very cool. Yay, applause. DL, did you get anything done? Let me know in the comments. So, yeah. All right, so on my side at least, I can say that I'm kind of getting to my interesting bits because I actually got over or not over, but got through the amount of writing I had to do to kind of process the last week and some events and stuff like that. So now I'm feeling like I have like the mental capacity to really start thinking about my reasons why I'm doing some things. And I've already started with like just why it is that I need to find the vision. So I've already kind of talked about it on the video already, so I'm not going to repeat that, but yeah, just writing it down, thinking about it a little more, just really kind of helped me really realize that I have to be motivated to get this done, and not just to get the strategy done, but to actually get that thing implemented. So that's going to be fun and interesting one day. I can't wait to get it done and showing you guys. I'm so excited. Okay. Right, so in the meantime, DL also said that he wrote 316 words. So very nicely done. Bravo. Awesome. So any excerpts from you guys, just let me know in the comments. But otherwise, yeah. Let me know what's going on in your lives. Like, if you don't mind sharing, like, on a very public kind of sphere, just anything interesting going on or anything like that, just also let me know. And yeah, we can talk about it maybe a little bit or something. But yeah, or any news, anything interesting, always welcome. So DL is sharing excerpts in the meantime, so I'm going to start reading, and then as he posts, I'll just go through it. Okay, so autumn had arrived once more, and the leaves would soon change to their warm colors as the air brought with it the cold. The bugs chirped and whistled as they danced in the twilight hours. The woods had grown still, except for one tree growing from a base of another. The tree was narrower than most, and a fraction in height, wrapped in a coarse bark like the skin of an elder. Its exterior was crumbling and peeling into flakes. On both sides of the tree, near the top, were two large gashes, as if someone had attempted to chop the head off the tree. From the divots oozed divots. Gosh, let me try that again. From the divots oozed out a caramel-scented liquid that had hardened like rivers of muddy glass. Its brittle and scaly stems jutted out from the top of its base. They stretched haphazardly with its tapered, life-affirming green leaves, wishing to reach the height the other trees did. The leaves ruffled around as the roots, gripped to the loose dirt upon which it sat, began to rip through the raw earth. Two knots, resting above the hacked wounds, clenched and unclenched like breathing lungs. After a few minutes of small tremors, the knots opened, revealing two wooden eyes. Arms and legs tore away from the base of the tree, ripping up clumps of dirt that had been grasped in its roots. Very cool. Very, very nice. Very nice description. I can actually see exactly what you are talking about. So, very, very, very well done. Thanks for sharing, DL. So, what shall we do? Anything that you guys want to talk about? Just like seriously, because I'm really trying not to hijack these streams to only talk about me the whole time. So the only thing is that there's like kind of a delay between asking a question and hearing back from you guys. So that's why I'm kind of talking nonsense and stuff in the meantime. But I'm still trying to find that balance between like talking too much about myself and stuff and about like random things and being quiet and waiting for a response to come through. Because yeah, it's kind of hard for me to find that balance, and I don't want to be like that person who's constantly talking about herself. So DL said, I'm having a narrator do an audiobook for my debut. Oh, why can I not English today? Let me try again. I'm having a narrator do an audiobook for my debut, The Battle for Metagore. Oh, that is very interesting. Okay, so I actually have to say it's something that I've been looking at, but that I'm kind of still about a bit unsure about whether I should be doing it at this stage. But yeah, mostly at this stage, it's like for me, it's about the cost. So I'm still reasonably early stage of my writing career, so I don't really have the sales or anything like that, and I'm trying to make that so that my publishing stuff actually compensates for any money I spend on my publishing stuff. So it's kind of difficult, but I'm really curious, and that's kind of where I'm going with this. I'm really curious about the process for choosing narrators and who are you using? Are you going through ACX, the Amazon one, or are you using Findaway Voices, which is the one for Draft to Digital, or are you going to do? Are you going independent completely and having like a completely independent guy narrate for you? Just let me know, because I'm really interested, and just share a bit of information if you don't mind about what made you kind of decide on the course that you are taking, ACX. Okay, cool. Right. So no, I'm really interested in ACX as well. Unfortunately, ACX is absolutely not available in South Africa, which sucks. But Findaway Voices is, so I can use them eventually. The only thing is that their cost structure is still a bit like, I won't say it's like unreasonable, but the fact that they charge in dollars, and just to give you guys an idea, is that the rand dollar is currently at around 15 rand per dollar, which means that paying for someone to narrate a book of about 60,000 words costs me about a year's rent. So that's a little terrifying for me, needless to say. But that's kind of where I'm not quite comfortable with that. But it's definitely something. I think it's a very good idea to have like that kind of format. And I believe in the format. It's just that at the moment it feels like just that little step out of my reach at the moment. So let's see. Michael says, I've been trying to make another YouTube video. I'm on my 7th redo. I think I'm doing the same thing as I used to do with my writing. Shoot, look at it, cringe, and redo. Yeah, that is always the risk, I think, is that you kind of get so like stuck on how you look and stuff like that. Even like me as well. I half the time that I look back at these live videos, I'm like, gosh, what are you doing? What are you doing? But yeah, I think the thing is that sometimes I can't remember who said it. It's a quote, and I don't know where I saw that quote, so don't even ask me. But it's something along the lines of perfection is the enemy of doing good, in the sense that trying to strive for perfection actually makes it harder for you to actually get anything done. So sometimes good enough is just good enough. And we, especially as perfectionistic kind of artistic types, need to get to like a point of realizing that no, actually, yeah, I'm cringing, but nobody else is even going to notice. So I'm going to make this that I have the best thing that I can do, and then I'm going to yeah, I'm going to get it out there and put it to the highest quality that I can get it. But right now, it's I guess it's also kind of a thing of, is the quality bad, or is it just literally that you're kind of moving commas around in a proverbial sense? right now. So I guess that also depends. But yeah. But also another thing is that maybe what you should also try looking at is if you did 7 videos, maybe you should just splice like the best parts of those 7 videos together. Maybe if you can, if you didn't like wear different outfits and stuff like that, because that's also a bit inconvenient. But yeah, so that's kind of my suggestion. But otherwise, we go with DL's line in general, which is you can do it. We believe in you. All right, so I think let's do for now another 15-minute sprint, and then I'll see you guys. All right, so I'm going to count down and we'll be back. All right, so 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go. And time. How did you guys do? Oh gosh, I ruined my fringe while I was writing. Right, so how did you guys do? Let me know in the comments. I did, I think, about 200 words again. I slowed down a little bit because I'm finally at this whole why am I doing what I'm doing thing. So I am trying to really think about it and not just write the easy things that might come to my mind or anything like that. I'm trying to be really like deep and authentic, man. I'm really trying to trying to be that person. So right now it's all about like going really deep and figuring out like, yeah, it's so difficult to put into words sometimes what I'm doing here, but it's I'm trying to just like find that core idea of what it is that I'm doing when I'm sharing my stories and publishing. And even, it sounds silly, but even when I'm sharing excerpts on this channel, why is it that I share it? It's not necessarily so that people can tell me, oh yeah, you're doing well. It's more, I don't know. There's something else to it. So that's what I'm trying to find, but it's a bit ethereal and difficult to get a grasp of. But yeah. So let's just see. I see Michael was so helpful as to tell me that my quote that I shared with him earlier is from Voltaire. So thanks so much. Very, very much appreciated. I think you're right, actually. I think that was him. So I'll try to remember that. And then he actually wrote 177 words, so very well done. And DL wrote 244 words. Nice. Well done. Round of applause for you guys. If you want to share excerpts, please do feel free to paste in the chat section again, and I'll read aloud. So I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it because it's so cool to see what is the result, to actually see the result of the work you guys are putting in, like during the thing. Not that I'm trying to be like crazy driving person, boost up lady or anything like that, but just, yeah, it's nice. I like it. I like hearing excerpts and sharing a little bit and all those things. So yeah, please do share. Oh, Michael is sharing. Oh, that's exciting. Okay, awesome. Let's see. Ronnie sprang forward, letting loose energies Jamissa had never seen. It was a strange mixture of light and dark, something historians and educators had thought impossible. Dark erupted light. Neither one can exist without the other, except Jamissa had to believe her own eyes. She noticed too late that the energies were going straight for her and her amalgamate. Interesting. See if there's more. Very cool. Very cool. I'm not sure if you are leaving me hanging here because I'm really interested to see where that goes. Is she going to get hit? Is she getting hit? I don't know. So I'm really interested to see how that ends up. But yeah, very nice. I like the energies that you're talking about and the light and dark and how dark corrupts light. Because it's an interesting way of looking at it. So it's interesting. I'm sure it's something that you're talking about in like world building and stuff like that. So I'm really curious about your book or story anyway. Let's see. So thanks so much for sharing, Michael. I really appreciate it. So, DL, are you also sharing an excerpt? Do let me know. I'm curious. I like your excerpts. I love you guys for sharing excerpts. I really appreciate it. So fun. Love it. I'm fangirling. I'm terrible about fangirling. I cannot not fangirl. Sorry. All right, but in the meantime, is there anything anyone else wants to talk about? So, and I also just want to say hi to all the lurkers. I don't know who you guys are, but I'm just seeing that I have 5 people watching at the moment. So if you haven't yet, please do feel free to just drop a comment in the chat and let us know. And DL just let me know that he is about to share his excerpt. Awesome. So I'll just be patient. I'm very bad. I'm very like hyper when it comes to stuff like this. I know it's like, gosh, Misha, just chill out. I'm sharing. Come on, But I know that I just want to read. I'm terrible about it. Okay, so, but back to my 3 delightful little lurkers. I'm very curious to know who you guys are. So just drop me a hello, I'm here and lurking in the background, even if you don't really want to engage in the chat. I'm just really interested in finding out who you are. Oh, now one ran away. But anyway. But also, and while you guys are at it, if you haven't yet, I would really appreciate it if you would just take a moment to hit like. And if you haven't yet, to please subscribe to my channel, because there will one day be a day when I will actually do more than just live streams. I will actually start posting content again. And the content, I believe, will actually be better quality than my old videos. Because I actually learned in the past few months, almost year, since I've actually posted videos, how to actually edit decently and worth the crap. So I'm really looking forward to it, but first things first is I need to sort out my strategy. Gosh, but it would be nice to have like a group of subscribers already. Just get going. So, all right. So let's see. Getting a lot of comments from DL where he started sharing. So let's see. Okay. Zane quickly retrieved his saber from its scabbard. Who are you? He asked as his eyes studied her every vapor of smoke. Why have you appeared to us at this hour? Zane, isn't it? She questioned as the ogre's face grew concerned and nodded. Ah, good. I am usually terrible with names, and I have come for my pay. I am not paying you the coin, Solaris stated firmly. Coins? No, no, chips, she echoed. I demand whole shells, for your debt is owed. What shells? Zane questioned as his eyes narrowed in confusion. For Duchess Anina's death, of course. Zane turned towards Solaris. You had our Duchess killed? Solaris's head cocked down as tension built in his voice. I never gave the order. Do not try to swindle me, Afria sassed. One does not acquire work for a job one does not wish to be carried out. Interesting. The Jinn's head jolted up, and the anger apparent in his face reddened. But I never gave the order. Afria smiled, letting out a small chuckle. No, you didn't. Fun. Fun. Well done. Guys, you guys are awesome. I love your writing style. It is so cool, both of you. I'm so interested to see where these stories are going. Ah! Yeah, sorry. Have I ever mentioned how cringe-worthy I am when I'm fangirling? Because I'm totally fangirling. But okay. Sorry. Okay. Okay. I'm okay. All right. So I think let's do another sprint, because unless you guys want to talk about something for like 5 minutes or something before sprinting, but I'm sure that DL has some writing to do, so I'm kind of trying to set a nice rapid pace that's not completely like crazy. So let me know what you guys think about the pacing, and then we can adjust a little bit. But yeah, so okay, let's do another 15 minutes in the meantime, and then see how we feel after that, because it's I just noticed that the past, if well, let me put it this way, if the 15 minutes are over, we would have had a live stream for 2 hours, and these 2 hours really feel like they've flown by for me. So I hope that was the same for you guys. But yes, so let's see, 15 minutes starting in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go. And time, how did you guys do? I think I got probably, I want to say about 180 words this time, but I got interrupted when my cartridge in my fountain pen ran out. So, yeah, so I had to go fetch another cartridge. But I just noticed that I just have one more left, so except for the one that I just put in, so I better go get replacements at some stage. Or actually, I'm thinking maybe I should just use, I've got some ink, and I think I have a cartridge that's a refillable cartridge. Something I've never used before, but yeah, it's something I think I should maybe try, because it just occurred to me as I was putting this cartridge in that it's probably not the best thing for the environment to have these plastic little tubes that I keep throwing away. So, oops. Okay, so I guess I'll have to see about refilling. Yee, exciting. Okay, so, but let me know in the comments how you guys did, and share excerpts, please. Please. I want to see where you guys are going, because you guys are doing awesome. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what you guys are willing to share. If you are willing to share, no pressure. So DL says he wrote 334 words, and Michael says he wrote 218 words. So well done to you both. I think we're killing it today. We're getting a lot done. I think I actually got to the point I think I kind of got to my vision statement at last, which is really exciting because it's something I've been struggling with for the better part of 2 months already. So I'm really glad that I'm kind of getting something that I can use, and it's not really just something for the writing and publishing, but it's directly applicable on most of my life, which is even better, because then I know I'm on the right track, because a vision is kind of this big thing. So it is something that, yeah, it just feels if it's just applicable to a very specific slice of my life, then it's not really my vision, because it's not really defining my life as a whole. So yeah, I'm really happy. I'm pretty excited. But, and the nice thing is that, conveniently enough for me, is that I've already kind of went and played around a bit about the messaging that I wanted to share and the branding I wanted to do. And without actually, even though I was perfectly willing to throw that away because that was just practice, it dovetails perfectly with what I was thinking about it, and the direction I wanted to take. So I guess all along my brain was more than willing to work on a subconscious level to get my vision in line with what I want my branding to be, or other way around. But yeah, so I'm pretty excited, because now I can actually start crafting a very nice, like, succinct 1 sentence vision, 1 sentence mission, value statement, which will be like 6 or 7 to 12 points. And then I'm pretty much done, and then I can actually start going into the nitty-gritty of what I want each of my chosen social networks to do. So yeah, I'm very glad. I'm so relieved that this is finally working out for me, because guys, you cannot understand how long I've been struggling with this now. So I guess, all told, taking a week off from just like doing literally anything was exactly the ticket that I needed to just find my reason for doing stuff, and just find perspective and find value, and all those nice things. Yay! But yeah. I don't want to. I want so much to like talk about this and go lyrical, and then I'm like, well, no, I cannot. I will bore people. But one day you will see, once I implement this stuff. So it's going to be fun. And in the meantime, DL is starting to share excerpts of awesomeness. Okay, so I'm going to start reading. Eller gave a bow with her head. Thank you. Can you go ahead and tell us what you foresee in our future? I will need an empty bowl. Eller turned and motioned for one of the guards standing by the doors to go and retrieve a bowl. A few moments later, he returned and handed it to Jasenia. Jasenia approached the table and set the bowl down. She grabbed some of her raven-colored hair and twirled it around her fingers, then plucked them from her scalp. The strands of hair turned to water in her hands as she began to pour it into the bowl. "What do you see?" Aller questioned as the oracle stared into the bowl. "I see a banner of fire spreading across all the lands of Metagor." "That's not a vision of the future. Darius has already laid siege to the realms. You can go walk down the streets right now and find the burning tower laid around about them." Jasania's eyes slowly peered up toward Aller. "No, this will be worse. The banner will spread like the great flood of flames once did." This is rather ominous. Sounds very, very, very scary. So, very interesting. Nice moment to share. Thanks so much, Dial. Very, very cool. I'm so interested. Ah. Whew. Okay. I'm trying not to fangirl too much, but yeah, I'm very interested in where this is going. It sounds so like epic, super epic. I'm so excited for you guys. But yeah. Okay, so I'm just right now. What we should do is just give a little second, and no pressure to Michael, but if he wants to share anything, he can do that as well. And in the meantime, you guys can also, if you want, just let me know in the comments if you guys want to do some more sprints with me tonight, because I'm not as tired as I was last night or last week, so I can actually stand to do a couple more, or yeah, see how it goes. If you guys want the motivation / company. But just let me know in the chat so that I don't accidentally just stop the chat when you guys don't want to write. But yeah, so I have to say though, it's like at the moment I'm just like, sorry, I'm going quiet at the moment because my brain is going like a mile a minute. I'm so excited about this. I'm super excited about like finally being able to feel like, yeah, I'm actually making real progress and getting to a point where I will actually have a very, very strong communications plan set up. So I cannot wait. Also, in the meantime, just maybe let me know what you guys are planning to do like into the new week. Are you going to continue working with these projects that you are working on right now? I think what I really want to do is ideally I would like to start implementing a plan. So my plans just now, not even counting the freelance work I have to do, but just getting my plan off the ground and getting those stuff going, and then and then once that is done and I get like the system in place to get regular updates and all that kind of stuff, which is probably way too boring for people to want to hear about it in this live stream, I will finally feel like I'm really in a place where I can really, really focus on what I should be focusing on, which is getting book 3 in the War of Six Crowns published, because there are so many people waiting for it. So it's not, when I say so many people, it's not like, again, not like millions of people, but still, for me, if it was 10 people, if there were 10 people who were going to be waiting for me to publish the next book, I would still be feeling bad because of the amount of time it has taken me to get this done. So I really need to get this done, and I am taking it very seriously. It's just that at the moment, I really need to sort this out because the longer I delay, the bigger pain in my neck it's going to become. And I can't really publish the next book if I don't have the marketing stuff out, because how are people going to know I published book 3 if I don't have my marketing and communication stuff online the way it's supposed to be? So yeah, it's chicken and egg situation, I guess. Let's see. DL actually said, I'm going to keep working on this project and maybe work some on my memoir. Very cool. Yeah, I remembered from your 10K a day challenge that you did last time. Was it last week? It feels like it was last week or the week before. But yeah, so anyway, so I remember you mentioning that you did a memoir, or that you are busy with a memoir. So yeah, I remember. So that is very, very nice. And it's I honestly I think it's a good idea to have more than one project, because especially if you're like me and you're a pantser, because pantsing kind of makes it really hard to not paint yourself into corners. And then the easiest and best thing for me in any case is to actually work on something else until I actually figure out how to escape that corner and get into the next stage of the book. So that's kind of where I'm at as well. Although right now I'm mostly focusing on book 3, because with limited time I kind of have to I have to prioritize, which kind of sucks sometimes. But on the other hand, I suppose I can't complain, because if I'm this busy, it's because I'm successful in my freelance work. So it's a blessing as well. So, and let's see. DL said 2 or 3 weeks ago. I don't exactly know how long ago. This is about when was his last 10K a day challenge. Yeah, I think I want to say it wasn't last weekend. I think it was a weekend before that, if I recall correctly. And then DL says he's a plotter. Well, good on you. I I used to plot, and then I just realized that I never finish a book that I plot. So I've just kind of gone the opposite way, and now I'm full on pantser, and I actually rough draft by hand. But then I do in the end also plan and plot specifically when I'm rewriting, because otherwise I would just write like a million iterations of the same quality, instead of actually taking what I had before, finding a way to improve on it, and writing that. So that's what the planning stage does for me when I'm rewriting. And then DL says, I write heavily on one project until I get burnt out on it. Then I switch to another project until I get burnt out on it. Yeah, that sounds about right. But for me, I don't wait to that stage even. I just what I do is I have like a rule. Like I think the most I've ever done is 7 projects at the same time. But the main rule is that I have one priority project that I have to work on at least once or twice or 3, actually basically more than half of a week. So 3 to 4 days every week, and then the others I can work on like whenever I feel stuck, or whenever I'm just like, well, I'm not really feeling the book that I'm working on or anything like that. But mostly, I find the interesting thing is that mostly just doing that and giving my brain permission to kind of wander off a little bit, as long as it comes back, it just actually makes my brain stick to one book better. But then, like I said, when I get stuck, it just it's really helpful to find something else to work on for a little bit, because most of the time it's for me when I feel burned out, it's because it's actually either I am burned out, which is usually nothing to do with my writing and mostly to do with all the other stuff I have to do, like for example not finishing work before 2 a.m. in the morning and starting no later than 10 a.m. that same morning, or that I went to sleep for 5 out of 7 days in a week. Yeah, that kind of burns me out like nothing else. So that would kind of make sense, I guess. And but that's burnout. So, but when I get like feeling like I have writer's block, most of the time it's just that there's something, because I'm a pantser, that my brain hasn't figured out yet. And sometimes I don't even know what that thing is, but the moment that thing gets sorted out, then I just go back to my story, and that's fine. I don't even always know what it was. It just happens. It's really weird. Uh, oh, and DL says he looked up the date that he did his last 10K challenge, and it was August 24th. Very cool. So I wasn't that bad. I wasn't that far off. Let's see. It was the weekend before last. So apparently my time brain isn't that screwed up at the moment, which is very nice to know. DL says I have 3 projects that I'm actually actively working on, plus another 10 plus projects that I will eventually get to later. Yeah, I have. I have kind of. I think I have like a total of something like 40 books on my to write list, because most of my book ideas are series books. So if I start a book and I know there's a sequel, then I count the sequels as well as my to write books. So that kind of just adds it up. So, but I would say I also have like, if I'm only counting first books in a series, I probably have about 15, and I have about 15 books incidentally also. That's, in other words, most of those books I've already written rough drafts for, but they are still like basically they're this kind of thing, and then they're not very useful to anyone yet. So I have to actually spend time and sit down, figure out what in the world building I'm missing, what's in the plot that I'm missing, what it is in the characterization that I'm missing. Although mostly I don't miss stuff in characterization, because I'm very much a character driven writer. But I try to build very strong plots as well, because I find just character driven stories that don't go anywhere are really like boring sometimes. So I'm trying not to bore people. But yeah, so that's kind of where I get stuck. And then but then I'm at the moment I have, when I say I'm actively working on it, it's just because I don't consider the drafts to be done. I think I currently have like, I want to say I have 5 projects, but I'm currently actively working on 1, because of the, like I mentioned, my schedule being so crazy. So I had to focus like on 1 project and work on getting that done. And the problem with that is, at the moment, well, it's not really a problem, but my challenge with that is that it's the largest, longest, most freaking complicated thing that I've ever worked on. So it's taking me forever to finish. But I'm hoping now, once I, hopefully, if I get that other contract I mentioned, then I will have more time to write again, and then I will be able to put some serious work into getting that done. And also, maybe now that I've rested out of it, because you guys will not believe how much of a difference this week has made. So maybe now that I've rested out, I'll have actually more like capacity to work in evenings and extra hours, and find hours that maybe before I would have been resting or something, to just get some writing and editing done, which will be. And then just, I see DL also said, yeah, my main project is the second in the Metagore series. I only have 1 other series planned at the moment, but some of the standalones may become series at some point. Yeah, it's, for me, like I mentioned, most of my ideas just turned into series, so I kind of just assume. But I think I have, I have 1. I think I have like 3 books that I know pretty much don't have a sequel. So I know that those are pretty much, because I don't foresee that there's going to be anything after that point of like the end of the book. But there are others that from the start I was just like, yeah, this story isn't fitting into just 1 work. So yeah. So that's kind of where my fun part is. But the thing about it is that with the War of Six Crowns, it takes up so much of my headspace that it feels like at one stage, when I was still in this like, gosh, I have to make so much money out of publishing, and I have to write so many books, and I have to do so much every year, and I have to do, because I used to buy into that at one stage as well. And I just kind of, I tried my hand at publishing the War of Six Crowns and at least 1 other series, but I ended up, at the moment, what happened was the other series now has 1 book out, and I have the second the second book in the series, i.e. the sequel, is now written in rough draft form, but I just can't get to it. And also the thing is that it feels like I need to go deeper into the world building, because it's really a cool series. And if I'm not paying close enough attention to it, it's just feeling to me a bit like, I'm wasting everybody's time because I'm not actually delivering at the quality that I want to. And it's kind of, I'm happy with the first book, so that's why I'm not pulling it. But for the sequel, I want to go bigger, because the first book is a novella and the second one would need to be a novel. So I would need to put a bit more effort into the sequel. So yeah. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at the moment, is that I have so much that I actually have ready for me to actually do something with it. It's just to literally sit down and give the due attention to that thing so that I can do it. But I feel that I can't really do that for as long as I don't have book 3 out, because of the fact that book 3 is taking up so much headspace and thinking space at the moment, just to make everything just stay consistent, because it's really hard to keep track of an entire world with all its history, all its languages, all that stuff at the same time. So And then DL also said, yeah, Metagore was going to be a 20-chapter standalone, but it turned into a 4-book series. And the first book is 58 chapters long. Yeah, you sound like me. You really do. It sounds a lot like what my experience is. It's like, I wrote The War of Six Crowns, the first book, was originally called Doorways. And I wrote it with the idea of getting it. At that stage, I thought like fantasy level, like a really thick book, like 300,000 words. But then I got to like, I want to say 60,000 words, and I finished it, and I'm like, well, this is pretty good, but now I need to edit and rewrite it. And then I did that, and by the time the edits were done, I had it was 109,000 words, even after I've cut out like something like 11,000 words. And I then knew that, okay, no, this isn't just a book, it's actually a trilogy. And then I sold the Doorways to a publisher, and then they told me, no, I have to split the book into 2, so that because it's a young adult fantasy, and they believed, the publishing house now believed that young adult readers, when they're not familiar with like the writer, that they want to, they will only try like shorter books, so no longer than 60,000 words. So then I had to split Doorways into 2, which was so much fun. And I'm saying this very sarcastically, but after I split it, I was actually really happy, because the book was actually better. So then I had not a trilogy, but then I had a 4-book series. And now when I was working on book 3, my one and only goal was to stay under 100,000 words. And then I wrote the draft, realized halfway through that I'm close to 100,000 words and I haven't told half my story. So I'm going to actually have to split the book. So I split the book, realized that, oh no, now I'm at close to 100,000 words, but the book doesn't feel like a complete book. So I had to redraft the whole freaking thing. And I did that with the idea of, okay, so I'm going to redraft and have a coherent plot now that is going to come in at 100,000 words. And I rewrote the half of the book 3 that I had planned with a coherent draft, and somehow ended up with 250,000 words. So I am just like terrible at it. And now by this time now, my original idea of having a standalone book turned into a trilogy, which turned into a 4-book series, which is now a 6-book series. So it is just like, I don't quite seem to have a grasp on the whole let's make it less kind of thing. But on the positive side, I don't think I'm bloating my story. It's just that there's so much going on, and it's like seriously like an epic thing that I'm really excited about people reading. I just wish it could get done so that they could read it, but I have to balance that with actually delivering something that's actually worth something. So, all right. So I think we're not really seeing anything from Michael, so I'm assuming he's back to recording his video. I'm guessing. So let's just, shall we go for another 15 minutes, DL? Or do I just have to go do that thing of saying we are doing 15 minutes? But yeah, let me know, because we've been going on for quite a while. So I don't really want to say, well, let's do another sprint if you guys don't want to do more sprints. So maybe just let me know. In the meantime, I'm going to just hang around here, minding my own business and putting no like pressure on anyone. But yeah, so what I wanted to say was just yeah. Also, I just really want to once again just say super thanks to everyone who's been watching, even my silent lurker over there, who I'm still very aware of. I know you're there. I'm paying attention. Okay, so DL says I don't care. Okay, so let's do another 15-minute sprint, and then after that call it a night, and then we can, well, cool, it's a night for me. You will probably keep on going, DL, but yeah, then we'll see. And I'm looking forward to seeing if you get through your 10K day, because that's going to be interesting. But yeah, all right, so I'm going to count down from 5, and then I'll see you guys in 15 minutes. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go. And time. How did you guys do? I think I only got like 100 words, but on the positive side, I've just come up with my one sentence vision statement. So yeah, I think today was a total win for me. So I'm so excited. It's so not even funny. I'm yeah, it's actually I think it's the big thing is for me now is to actually just not keep pushing through because I don't want to work too late. But come Monday or even tomorrow night, maybe I will be working on my communications plan section, like the overall goals and stuff, vision, mission, value statement, and then my goal statement. And yeah, and from there, it's all downhill, and it's so much easier for me. So, so happy. How did you guys do? I'm really hoping that you guys also did well. DL says he got 294 words. One last excerpt. You feel like more? Just feel free to copy paste. Let's see if we hear back from Michael or if he's still away. Because I think he's away. I'm not sure, but he's gone quiet. So I have a suspicion he probably got busy with something. But yeah. I'm so happy. It feels so cool to actually have achieved something important like this, because usually lately it's been feeling like unless it's for work and with someone else paying me, I haven't really been able to make any headway towards any milestones with my own stuff. So it's actually really, really nice to actually feel like I actually got something important done. So yes, I'm very, very excited. But yeah, also I think this was the one that I just did is probably going to be the last one for me. So I am going to say goodbye after you've shared your excerpts, but also maybe do me a favor after you've posted the excerpts and while I'm reading for you, then just count up the amount of words you did during these sprints, because I'm curious to see how many words you got done in the past 3 hours. I hope that this time I didn't keep you out of work so that you actually did get a decent amount of work done. So fingers crossed, but I'm really curious to see how much you got done. Okay, so I'm starting to read. Moller followed Josie down the coast, past the row of large statues that lined the ports, stone cliffs jagged up above them, with white brick archways built into the architecture leading into the city. Moller became in awe of the city. The shops near the cliff walls were painted white, with large openings under the teal roofs that extended over the collection of merchants. Further into the city, buildings stretched towards the clouds, with large stone arches designed into the outer walls for a decorative touch. So, this is Summerforge? Moller asked. This is the capital, Fiven Landing. Beyond this, though, most of the land is untamed, with trees and fountains. I'm sure it is a beautiful place. I'm sure it is a beautiful place too. Because the description sounds nice. It sounds pleasant, like a holiday. So I really like the descriptions and how it looks. And in my mind, it looks a bit, I don't know, it looks a bit, I almost want to say Greekish, like but probably not completely, but more, I'm just thinking about the big white buildings and things. And I've never been to Greece, but like the photographs I've seen of like the old marble buildings and things like that. It's kind of what your description is calling up in my mind. But yeah, so just waiting for the lag to follow through and trying not to have a complete like stream of conscious thing while while waiting for feedback. So DL actually let me know that he did 1,549 words for your stream, 3,692 words so far today. Very good. Yay, I'm glad. That sounds like a decent amount of work that you got done, especially with all the talking and stuff I did in between the sections and all that. So I'm glad you did so well. But yeah, all right. So I think I am going to say goodnight, and I want to also just once more give a special thank you to everyone who has been watching, and especially to DL and Michael who that were so kind as to chat with me in the chat today. I really appreciate it, and also that you were sports with sharing your excerpts and stuff. I really appreciate it, and yeah, I really hope you guys do well this week with your writing, but just also in general, that everything goes well. And then hopefully I will see you guys again next week, same time, which will be 5 p.m. South African time, which is GMT +2, or about, I think it's 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Saturday. So I will see you guys then. If you haven't yet, please do take a moment to like and subscribe to my channel. But yeah, I think for now I'm going to sign off, and then hopefully next time when we see each other again, I will actually have a communications plan that I am busy putting into action. So fingers crossed for that. But yeah, talk to you guys soon, and thanks so much for joining. Love you guys, and stay awesome.